Hey everyone, I'm LC Gamer, and welcome back to Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, The First Cases. In the last video, we completed Chapter 4, and now we have entered Chapter 5, The Secret. So, let's jump into this and see what secret I'm unveiling. A restless sleep combined with the image of the eerie figure in the snow has only convoluted what my little gray cells must consider. I should not have expected this to be a simple case. I have been lied to by at least one of the guests. Their alibis all confirm each other's, but I know this not to be true. Yeah, unfortunately. Alright, reviewing. The Major was involved with the blackmail, eludes me for now. Once I have confirmed whether he was the author of or recipient, I can consider my next step in my investigation. Yay. Alright. We have Gideon paid it off. Ransom value. Okay. So, let's talk to Archibald.
Good morning, Detective. You slept well?
Not really.
I'm afraid I did not. I was hoping for at least a moment of pleasant slumber, but alas, it was not to be. Finding the Major's killer is the only thing that will put my mind at ease.
In that case, Detective, what can I do to help?
A lot. Well, watching the snow fall last night, I swear I saw the silhouette of a figure standing in the garden.
In that snow? If someone was out there, we'd have another body on our hands.
Possibly.
I realize how strange it sounds. I would not believe it myself if I had not seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Staff have reported seeing things in the dark before, but it always just turns out to be shadows. It was likely just your mind playing tricks.
I hope so. Did not see Elizabeth last night.
I'm afraid our Lizzie is not well. I think the events of yesterday were too much for her. We'll have to just make do without her this morning.
Oh no.
As Wordsworth once stated, rest and be thankful. Perhaps a chance of peace and relaxation will work wonders.
Maybe. I'm hoping so.
She is currently eating breakfast alone in the dining room. It's how she prefers it. But if you wish to speak with her now...
Maybe in a little while. It's important I speak with her, but perhaps it is better to allow her to finish. Do not wish to upset her before I have even asked my first question. Yeah, let's not.
I would, but I'm afraid I found this morning that the telephone lines aren't working. The snow continued through the night and must have damaged them.
Oh no.
Even if we could use the telephone, I don't think anyone would be able to reach us.
Maybe. Only one way to find out. So?
In that case, it will be up to myself alone to solve the case.
Yeah, my stupid headset. Alright. Now that it won't try to keep falling off my head for some stupid reason, let's continue.
I'll let you know if anything changes. But until some of the snow clears, enough for the carriages to arrive, we are snowed in.
Oh no. Although I am not able to call upon or leave the house to find help from the local authorities, it also means none of the guests are able to leave. Well, that means we're locked in here with a blackmailer and possibly a murderer. Oh boy, this is not friendly, but then again, am I locked in with them, or are they locked in with me? I have until the snow clears to find out only Angeline's, not only Angeline's blackmailer, but also the killer of the Major.
Taken care of. Master Demir and his brother, after sobering up, helped me move him into the cellar. Best place for the time being.
Probably very cold, too.
Très bien. I imagine there is no reason for anyone to go down there.
Besides me, no one. Once this snow clears, we will be able to move him from the house.
I just hope the man that was walking outside wasn't the Major.
Your assistance has been most valuable as always.
Because that would just be weird.
Good morning, Detective. I hope you were comfortable last night.
For the most part.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. The room was more than pleasant, merci. I'm afraid my mind was not in a state to enjoy it to its full potential, though.
I can't imagine any of us slept soundly last night.
Hopefully, guilt will be weighing heavily on someone's shoulders this morning.
Perhaps on more than one set.
I'm sorry if I was not much help last night, Detective.
No, you were a great help. Very insightful.
On the contrary, your inside knowledge of the guests was of great help to my investigation. But there are many more questions that require answers.
Yes. What were your feelings toward the Major's position in the house?
His position? You mean about him living here?
Oui, even in a house this size, you must see a lot of each other.
I enjoyed having him here. When I was away with Gideon, it was comforting to know Maman was not alone. Although his work with Mr. Da Silva has kept him away from the house of late.
What can you tell me about their relationship, working or otherwise?
There is not much to tell, only that there is no love lost between them.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what their business entailed?
He was always quite private about his work. I know that he was helping Mr. Da Silva with some safety matters.
Interesting.
I found a check addressed to the Major from Monsieur Da Silva. It noted security consulting.
Ah, that's right, security. With his military training, he helped Mr. Da Silva prepare for any trouble with the strikes.
Okay. Any development with the blackmail?
A development? Oh, Detective, I knew I could count on you.
It may not be the news you had wished for, though. Another letter has been found.
Addressed to me? I don't know how much more I can take of this.
Not to you.
Pardonnez-moi, mademoiselle. Although it has been written in the same manner, using similar phraseology, it was not sent for your eyes, rather the Major's. Or at least that is how it seems.
I'm sorry, Detective, I don't understand. It is addressed to him or not?
I found it in the Major's study yesterday while conducting my preliminary search. Whether he is the author of the letter or the recipient, I am still yet to discover.
Could the Major have been behind the blackmail?
Heavens no. He could not do that.
You never know with some people.
You did not hesitate for a moment.
Why would he do such a thing? And then to send a letter to himself. It just doesn't make sense.
That
Merci
is
for
true.
your time, mademoiselle. You are to a detective what an umbrella is to a traveler on a wet day.
Useful?
Exactement.
You could have phrased that much better, Poirot. Oh well. I'm going to work my way around the house. See what areas I can get into, what I can't. And who I can talk to. Hello.
Comtesse, I wonder if I could ask you some questions.
That is it, detective? No small talk? No inflating of one's ego?
Not this time. Sorry.
I am afraid not, Countess. With the murderer still loose in the house, my mind is rather preoccupied.
Well then, detective, perhaps I can be of some assistance.
Comment, madame?
I thought you might like to know what I found on the Major's body.
You found something on his body?
That certainly piqued your interest.
Yeah. You shouldn't have been messing with the body.
A man has been murdered, and you find it acceptable to fool around and joke.
Oh, please, detective. Do you really think so little of me? Archibald asked for my assistance. He knows of my medical training from my days as a nurse, and I thought I would be able to help. Even if it has been some years.
In that case, thank you.
It was not his place to grant you access to the body.
I shall remember to keep my assistance to myself next time.
Oh, get over yourself, Countess. This is a murder investigation. You should have asked Poirot first.
A single stab wound, which you no doubt already knew. The knife was held in their right hand. I would say their predominant hand.
Possibly. I pride myself on order and method, and this is far from either. A suspect in a murder investigation has examined the very victim that they are suspected of killing. It is like something out of a crime novel.
Judging by the depth of the wound, I would say there was no great force put into the strike. More a sign of defense than attack. If I had to say what weapon was used, a small sharp knife or dagger.
Like a letter opener. This may confirm my suspicions of the Major's knife being used to kill him.
I understand it may be difficult for one to keep such information to yourself, but I ask you to try. Your involvement has already tainted my investigation.
You are welcome, detective.
Thank you. When my superior officer hears of the going-ons in this house, I will surely be seeing the green fields of the countryside once more. Must do all I can to redeem the reputation I have worked to build, starting with finding the killer.
S'il vous plaît, Comtesse. Keep this information to yourself.
Please.
Bonjour, Monsieur Demire.
Detective Poirot, how are you?
Pretty good at the moment.
The truth, Monsieur. With each step towards uncovering the blackmailer, I am thrown 2 steps back as to the identity of the Major's killer.
Is there something I can help you with?
Sure. Tell me about, Sterling.
Archibald came to me and asked for my help in the matter. My brother and I dealt with it.
Merci for your help. It is a job that only the professionals should have to undertake.
It's a job that had to be done, although it may have affected my brother more than I.
Right. His war trauma.
How so?
At the sight of the body, the color drained from his face. Once we had reached the cellar, Zachariah took himself straight off to bed, without even a good night.
Well, in the study I noticed the Major's safe was locked. Would you know who has access?
Felix and Madame Vandenbosch are the only ones with keys, as far as I'm aware. Oh, and Archibald. I'm sure I heard Felix asking him to return something to it once.
That means I need to get the key from Archibald. Alright. Have you spoken with your brother this morning?
I have not seen him since last night. I'm sure he will have been fine after a good night's sleep.
As long as we don't find him dead. Oh boy. Imagine the alcohol would have acted as a sufficient sleeping aid.
He does not need his younger brother checking in on him.
Perhaps that is exactly what he requires.
I'm not sure what he told you yesterday, Detective, but he's a big boy. He can look after himself.
I'm sure he can, but Family should stick together.
I worry that may not be the case, monsieur. His time in the war came up in conversation more than once during our conversations.
He's still talking about it? I thought talking to the doctor would have stopped all of that.
No. That's just a few steps.
Merci, monsieur.
Oh. Okay. To the dining room. No, let's head upstairs. See if who's upstairs. I can't go upstairs. Right. How about the lounge? Can't go into the lounge. Can't go to the dining room. I can go to the dining room, but I'm avoiding the dining room for the moment. To the garden. Yeah, I'm trying to give the Madame Bosch time to eat. Any evidence in this of the figure from last night will, on one hand, confirm I am not seeing things, as Sterling suggested, but on the other, pose even more questions than that must be answered.
Aha.
Poirot, why did you act like a cat just now? It will be lighter with the insignia of a military regiment. The major must have dropped it. Or it was thrown out the window. What am I looking for? Nothing there. But over here. Nothing over here.
Huh.
Garden tools have been left out, presumably before the snow fell. Alright. I've been trying to find something. Anything.
Huh.
There's a small trail of footprints in the snow. The Major was seen walking around here yesterday. Alright. Let's see. Angelina knew the Major well. Brothers moved the body. Archibald asked... Okay. Gideon claims Archibald has access to the safe. Zachariah was terrorized after the war. Zach was shocked by the Major's corpse. Let's try connecting these two.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Yeah. Alright, talk to Gideon. Gideon paid it off. Talk to Cassandra. Maybe these two?
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
I don't know, I'm standing out in the middle of the snow. Probably killing myself. So, what am I looking for out here? And how do I find it? Come on. Anything.
Ah,
It has almost disappeared in the snow. I doubt we will see too many birds in these conditions. Okay. On this side? No. Let's get to the gate then. Exit is impossible. Alright. Actually, it looks very possible to me at the moment. The snow is still falling and I am hardly dressed for the occasion. Perhaps Madame Bosch has finished her breakfast and is ready to answer my question. Alright. Nothing. Well, since I'm out here, I'm gonna go talk to Gideon again.
If it will help you, when he returned from the war, he was a different man. Everything became about what he had seen.
I cannot speak from experience, but I can only imagine the horrors he must have witnessed.
The first weeks he would wake in the night, screaming. I found him one night, cowering behind the desk in the study. And when I tried to help him out from beneath it, well, that was the first time I had ever feared for my life.
That is not why you two are no longer close?
And not at all, Detective. We were always very different in nature. While I had always wanted to follow an academic path, Zachariah was more of a free spirit. Or at least as free as our father and the laws would allow.
And yet, he ended up in the military. Quite the contrast.
Very true.
Our father demanded that he at least try to do something with his life. And when some of his friends joined the army, he signed up with them. It wasn't long before he moved out from the family home after his return from the army. I always assumed that he had put the war and everything that came with it behind him and was moving on. But now I see that is far from the truth.
Wow. Alright. To the dining room. Well, I must speak with Madame. I should also take the opportunity to talk to Rihanna in the kitchen. Ooh, actually, I can take a look around the room now. See if there's anything interesting in here. That's probably not important.
Oh.
Probably not important. Window. Window. Another bust. More alcohol in a globe. To the kitchen. The cupboard. Actually, I was looking at the cake more than anything. Ooh, cookies. Vegetables. Pots, pans.
Oh.
Yep, interesting indeed, isn't it, Poirot?
Bonjour, madame. You must be the wonderful cook.
Wonderful and modest, sir. I am Rihanna.
My taste buds thank you for the ravishing meal last night. It has been some time since I ate so well.
Glad to hear it, sir.
S'il te plaît, madame. A detective is fine.
In that case, Mademoiselle is fine for me, and I will ignore your presumption of marriage.
Très bon, mademoiselle.
You have been with the Vandenbosch family for quite some time?
That's right. I've seen staff come and go, but a house always needs a trustworthy cook.
Okay.
I agree. But if I was to eat what you prepare every day, I fear I may be the size of La Maison.
Not a bad thing, detective. You could do with some meat on your bones.
Well, with the snow still not clearing, we may be stuck here for the weekend. Perhaps I should look to adjust my pantalon buttons.
Alright. I understand you took some ice to the Major's yesterday.
I did. Monsieur Archie told me what had happened. Bruises can swell fast, so I took him some ice to bring it down.
Alright.
How was the Major when you saw him?
Grumpy, as always.
I suppose one would not take kindly to being punched as he was.
Some.
Punched or not, he was as ungrateful as ever.
I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle.
Alright. Back to the rest of the people which I need to talk to. Alright. Is there anything on the table I can take a look at before I talk to Cassandra? No.
Bonjour, madame. May I offer my condolences for your loss?
Thank you, Detective, but they are not necessary. What can I do for you?
I was hoping you would be prepared to answer some questions.
If I must.
Yes, you must. I'm sorry if these are going to hurt your pride or your feelings.
I'm sure you're aware he was not the easiest man to get along with. His hot temper made him a number of foes.
A hot temper is reason enough to kill a man.
His mouth often acted before his brain. Perhaps someone had grown tired of dealing with it.
Like you? You suggested why someone might kill him, but who do you believe would
Seeing
do
as
it?
I heard Mr. Becker's in what I would describe as an unnecessarily loud exchange of words yesterday, he would be my first suspect.
You heard them yourself.
How could I not? The volume they were shouting at, I could hear them from the study in my room.
Okay.
You did not think it fitting to tell me this yesterday?
I didn't think Felix was going to wind up dead and a murderer loose in my house. My apologies, Detective.
Oh, now you're being snappy with me. Although I must learn more of this argument, it is not Madam that I expect the answers to come from. Rather, Becker's. He has a great deal of explaining to do.
I assume you are talking about the supposed blackmail letter.
Yes.
Oui, madame. You know of it?
It arrived shortly after the first. Rather coincidental, if you ask me.
I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say, madame.
He no doubt had secrets hidden away. But do you honestly think Felix had anything of value to his name worth threatening him for?
Maybe, maybe not. I would like to get into the safe and find out for sure.
Perhaps you should enlighten me.
Well, he was here, living in my house, eating my food, prepared by my staff. Does that answer your question, Detective?
How do you think the Major came to have the letter?
I wouldn't put it past him to have written it himself, in the hopes of getting some sympathy from me.
And the other letters?
He probably wrote those too. If Angeline paid the first, that would have given him the money to pay the second letter. He is the White Knight, saves the day, and expects to live here happily ever after.
I did not expect Madame Vandenbosch to be so blunt with her thoughts towards the Major. I was under the impression that was more to their friendship, no less. Oh, I like her train of thought, though. It is quite the nefarious plan that Madame has laid out for the Major. Not sure I can believe he would go to such levels of deceit. I'm sure Angeline will have an opinion on the matter. I'm sure she will. Please tell me about Silva.
What is it you wish to know?
You two have been friends for some time now. And while I do not mean to pry, has your relationship only...
If you are trying to insinuate that Mr. De Silva and I are running around like schoolchildren, you could not be further from the truth. He was friends with my husband, for goodness sake.
So?
Oui, I understand they worked together. Investments, if I am correct.
Mr. De Silva was the voice of reason that my husband should have listened to more often, instead of throwing our money at businesses that were already on the verge of bankruptcy.
And sometimes businesses on the verge of bankruptcy just need a bit of a boost to get them through. You never know what they can do.
Merci, madame. I shall not bother you any further.
I have gathered all I need from Madame and Rahina. I should return to the Great Hall. But first, I would like to, see if I can make any connections here. Alright. Major had a temper. Cassandra suspected Hugo. Major didn't have much to his name. Cassandra believes the Major was the blackmailer.
I cannot see the logic in
No.
it.
Maybe these two?
Come, my little grey cells.
Alright. Angeline attached to the Major. How about these two?
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the...
Yeah. That could have worked too. I wasn't thinking of that.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Alright. Talk to Angeline. Angeline, I have some questions for you.
Is there something I can help you with, Detective?
Yes, there is.
You have got the wrong end of the stick, Detective. Maman has snapped at him recently, but it was nothing more than that. It was something to do with the letter. I heard them in the library before Maman shouted and he stormed out of the room past me.
Could it have been the blackmail letter that instigated their argument?
Why would Maman be upset with him over the letter?
Well, he is blackmailing his, her precious daughter.
Madame is of a very different opinion from yourself regarding his connection with the letters. She believes him to be the author.
That is what she told you? She has always been one to make a quick, if not rash decision, but she cannot truly believe that.
You never know. Was the Major aware you had paid the first blackmail letter?
I don't recall telling him directly. I did not want Maman to find out it had been paid. If he knew, surely she would.
Maybe, maybe not.
Madame believes he may have been behind all the letters, and taking your payment of the first, then used it to pay the second and be the hero in you and your mother's eyes.
I never knew Maman had such an imagination. Where would she get a story like that from?
Good question.
That is a question I was hoping you may be able to answer.
You have met him. Do you really think he's capable of such a devious plan?
To be truthful, he could have been. but he was too rash and hot-headed to probably get the job done.
It is a plan only the most crooked and underhanded could create. Is that the Major? I am not so sure.
The more I think on the story, the more ridiculous and obscure it sounds, but that does not mean it can't be ruled out.
I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle.
Okay. Who else do I need to talk to? Angeline questions Cassandra's reasoning for the blackmail. Cassandra wasn't happy with the Major.
This will not get me any closer to my goal.
Ransom value, getting paid it off. How about these two?
I must act on thought.
No. Touch the Major. Cassandra wasn't. Angeline. Okay. Don't tell me it's these two.
Order and method. That...
Okay. How are these two connected?
Magnifique.
I wonder if the blackmail had a greater effect on their relationship than expected. Maybe. Talk to Angeline again.